Hello everyone, Anthony Keklam back again here. Wow, it has been so long since I made one of these videos, and I am sorry. First of all, I had my final exams for high school that came up. Then there were the summer holidays where I was gone for most of them. And now I'm back. First of all, you may have noticed something, which is that my hair has been cut. Yeah, I cut my hair during the holidays. Wow, it feels weird to not have things dangling about. Even though it's been nearly a month since we got cut, it still feels weird to not have long hair, to not be able to headbang properly. And also, I shaved because I was like, you know what? Why the hell not? So there was already that I wanted to say. Also, you may have noticed that the day that this is probably going to come out is on Wednesday the 20th, and I'm also recording this also on Wednesday the 20th. Basically, I have a day off university, so at first I didn't want to do this video, but then I saw that MatPat from Film Theory made a theory about a Fnaf film, and oh my god, you people know how much I love, first of all, how much I love game theory and Matthew Patrick in general. Like, honestly, there's a reason why this is my favorite hoodie of all time. There's that. But there's also the fact that I am a huge Fnaf fan. If you've seen some of my few of the last videos that I did, they were all about reactions to the Fnaf timeline, which I am a bit sad that I got sick and then I didn't have the motivation and the time to continue making them, and I'm sorry about that. I might actually do a deep dive. I might actually do a deep dive and retroactive look on the timeline. But there's also another thing. On Wednesday the 20th, okay, today, in France, the 6th episode of Ahsoka came out. And I love Star Wars. It is by far my favorite. Oh, hey cat. It is my favorite, basically, fandom that I'm a part of. And my favorite character is Grand Admiral Thrawn, Mithron Urodo. I have read the books and have listened to all the 3 books in the Thrawn trilogy and the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy. And so, the minute that I saw that Thrawn was going to be in Ahsoka from the trailer, my mind just blew, basically. I was like, what? And then today, as I was watching it, when you get that shot of the Star Destroyer that suddenly appears over the over the temple of the Night Sisters, and at first I was like, oh, okay, so there's still 2 episodes left. They're not going to reveal Thrawn just yet. It's going to be like a messenger or something, or it's going to be a transport ship. And then they show the underside, and I saw the Chimera. Basically, this was my reaction to it. Yeah, basically I yelled like a madman when I saw it, and then afterwards when you see all the stormtroopers who are all in line and they all go Thrawn, 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 and then because I had the subtitles on, it was written Enoch. My mind also just went black because I remembered, yeah, Commander Enoch. And then at the same time, so I realized at the same time that we were also going to bring a few our characters from the Thrawn books, specifically Thrawn, Treason, and Alliance. And yes, I know it is Thrawn, Alliance, and Treason. But also, I was hoping that we'd get to see other people. I would love to see like Zoxton, of course, Pharaoh. That would be great. And hopefully we get to see some more Chiss later on. I would love to see Aralani and also Eli Vanto. And wait, actually here, give me a second. I actually have like the comic book adaptation of Thrawn. I have to take care of my books a bit better than just putting them all into one gigantic drawer. But yeah, Thrawn, the first book, and oh my goodness, I love this. I read it about 3 or 4 times every year since I bought it. I love Thrawn. I love Thrawn way too much. And also I was re-listening to the I finished listening to the entire Ascendancy trilogy before first episode of Ahsoka came out, because I just wanted to remember everything. So now that I've explained what I have been up to, now we get to react to the first film theory about FNAF. For those of you who have not been part of a theorist community for years, like I have been a member of a theorist community since 2015, basically, since around November, December 2015. That's when I entered the theorist community. And I remember that one of the big things that we were hyping up even then was the idea, because at the time we had got the announcement not too long before, a few months before, about a FNAF film. And so we were all like, yes, we will get to see FNAF on film theory. And so now, nearly 8 years later, oh my god, I have been a fan of the theorist community since I was basically 9-10 years old. Wow. I feel old now. But yeah, let's watch this. I will react to it and I will give my point of view on it. And if you're wondering why I keep looking to the side of the camera before going back, it's because I'm still filming on my phone and my phone is charging right now, so I have to move. Normally I have the camera pointing on the other direction, so I'm used to looking here, and now it's there, so I keep having to reflexively look back there, okay? So I'm sorry if I don't look at the camera. I have not done a video in nearly 7 months, okay? Please forgive me. I'm trying to learn everything all over again. Anyway, enough rambling, and let's watch this! Oh my god, I have to stop. I have to calm down. Okay, let's... Wait, I need water. I'm sorry, I'm becoming like one of those, like, YouTubers that's trying to pad out the runtime, but no, I just want to watch this. Come on, shut the fuck up, Anthony, and just watch.
Google Meet for sponsoring a portion of today's video. It's been so many years.
Yes, it has.
Long have I waited. Finally, it's my turn.
You're not... Really? Is that all you gotta do for such a... Yeah! Who here, okay, if any of you have been a fan of game theory for as long as I have, who here remembers when he made a special version of his 2015 intro? You know, with the original Sans Blaster, not the remix that he uses nowadays, but the original Sans Blaster tune. But with like purple guy, and if I'm remembering, there's a puppet that starts to chase after a purple guy at one point. It's an old intro. If I find it, I'll play it right now. Anyway, so let's go back.
Hello, Internet.
Welcome to Film Theory!
The show that always knew that this day was coming. It's been over 8 years, but finally the Five Nights at Freddy's live-action feature film is set to hit the silver screen in a little over a month. And you know what that means.
Specifically at the time of recording this, 1 month and 1 week.
Means that nowhere is safe anymore from FNAF theories. Don't believe me? There's a FNAF cookbook releasing in October.
What? What? I'm sorry, what? I'm gonna get this cookbook and I'm gonna make, I'm gonna cook something from it and I'm gonna do it on camera, okay? I'm cooking something from this book.
A Fnaf cookbook. It's coming for you next, Food Theory. Not only does a Fnaf fashion line, it's infected all of us. Oh, my sweet stars, what have I done? But for a
For those of you who've been on YouTube long enough, you know there's only one correct FNAF costume. It's the one that random encounters used in their musical for FNAF. But actually Matthew wore, Like, he wore.
Tell me what's going on.
Why, this is a crime scene, and you're the victims.
Who are you?
I'm your employer, Nate. I go by many names. Phone Guy, Mad Pat, Scott Cawthon.
satisfying as it is for Film Theory to take another toy out of the toy box of Game Theory and claim it as our own, see also Sonic, Mario, and Last of Us in this year alone, in all seriousness, we are way overdue for a theory breaking down our predictions for this movie. And believe me, there is plenty to talk about. If you're on YouTube and you somehow missed the phenomenon that is Five Nights at Freddy's, how? Genuinely, how? I need to know your secrets. This series
was that a bite of 87?
Exploded about a decade ago, with every Let's Player on the platform screaming their heads off over the haunted animatronics hunting us down in the ruins of a dilapidated pizzeria. But while the scares certainly got us started, it's the story that's kept us going. What's helped the series persist for as long as it has been its incredibly mysterious story told through scraps of information and obscure environmental
extremely
details.
mysterious!
60 episodes later on Game Theory, and we are still trying to decode this thing. Really? It's only been 60? Feels like...
It's fucking 60! You can watch one episode a week for a year and you would not be done with this series. It is huge, okay? And I have thought many times of doing basically a live stream here where I do a marathon of watching every single FNAF video in order in one go. And many times I have said, no, there's way too much. And the original theories are almost completely wrong nowadays, so it would be very frustrating to watch. But maybe I will do it. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see.
Gotta be 100 at this point. And this new FNAF movie seems to be staying true to the franchise's roots, not in terms of the lore necessarily, but in terms of the cryptic storytelling. There is a ton of information packed into the few short minutes of trailer footage that we've seen so far. Enough that I believe we can predict the entire plot of this new movie, right down to the shocking twist ending that's gonna leave you devastated. Here's a hint. If you think this movie has itself a happy ending with everyone smiling and living happily ever after, then clearly you have not been paying attention. So today, Film Theory does what Game Theory's never been able to do: solve this franchise. And we're gonna do it before the movie even releases. Keep your eyes on your monitors, loyal theorists. We're going in. So I think a good place to start with our prediction here is sort of laying out what we think the movie's trying to do with FNAF as a franchise. Just from watching these trailers, I think it's clear that this movie does not take place in the universe of the games. Why? This thing. I have played, watched, and read every last scrap of information this franchise has put out, and this is unlike anything we've ever seen before. Clearly, it's a murder weapon, and clearly it was made by the franchise's big bad, but why, what, and how is still a complete mystery.
Yeah, even when I looked at it, I had many ideas, but then they all got shot down, mostly by myself and also the larger theorist community. Like, I thought it could be a scooper, but no, that doesn't look like the scoopers that we're used to. It could be a springlock suit. Definitely is not. It could be some of the child containment units that we see inside of the Funtime animatronics. But those are containments, not killing. I honestly could not think of anything. Just like Matt here, where, like, yeah. I don't know what it is. So, I do agree with Matt saying that just with that one machine, we know immediately that it's not made, it's not in the, like, let's say the main universe. Although, what it could be, and I really sincerely hope I am not correct, it could be a dream. And yes, I know immediately, everyone is like, yeah, but that explains everything. Yeah, but think about it. If you, one of the big ideas that we've always had is the idea that FNAF 4 was a dream. And one of the things in it was the idea that the nightmare animatronics that you see are basically the child's imagination that sees things, like someone putting, like an employee putting the head costume on another employee could be seen as them killing them. If you imagine it like that, it would make sense that through the lens of a child, it would be seen as them getting killed. Although then again, that would imply that Mike did see something like that when he was young and it traumatized him, which then would go against his entire idea of him being more laid back, that you see him with like his headphones and everything. I think that if you're scared at that point of an animatronic, you would not go there even if you were desperate for money. And you definitely would not bring a child. Nah. But still, it could be. It could be. But I sincerely hope it's not.
Best guess, and again, this one's a guess, is that it's a remnant extractor. A way to ensure murder victims have the most traumatic, awful death possible, so the agony they experience can be harvested to help create creatures with eternal life. If none of that meant anything to you, strap in, El Chippo. You're in for a crash course.
Yeah, but the thing is that you and your own theory, specifically in your timeline, said that the entire idea of special delivery, so FNAF AR, was to collect remnant. So you're saying that this here would be a way for the company to get more remnant? Actually, it could. Actually, it could. I never thought of that. It could be a remnant extractor. Well, we can only see.
By the end of this thing, you're going to be talking about Fazgoo with the confidence of a pro. Looking at the trailers and IMDb, we know that this is going to be the story of Mike Schmidt, a security guard from FNAF 1, but things are different this time around. Well, this certainly appears to take place in the 1990s like the original FNAF game, considering everyone's using old-school wired telephones, there are no modern cars, and all the monitors are old CRTs. They're also bringing in characters who clearly reference later parts of the franchise, specifically Vanessa from Security Breach, a blonde security guard in the game who here appears as a blonde police officer. What I think's going on here from a meta perspective is that the movie's taken a bunch of stories from the game franchise and simplifying them for a general film audience, while trying to keep the most iconic aspects of the games intact. Plus, they're going to be combining ideas and characters from different eras of the franchise to get as many recognizable aspects of FNAF into one film as possible. That's why we see the story from the original FNAF interacting with someone new from Security Breach, and then you have a girl named Abby mixed in there whose name is literally an anagram of baby, all fighting against an unbroken version of Springtrap. That right there, that is the filmmaker.
Golden Bonnie, not Springtrap. Golden Bonnie. Springtrap can only be used once he got spring locked. At least from my point of view. Of course, people will and can disagree. I personally still call that just Golden Bonnie.
Trying to bridge the gap between the different eras of FNAF and bring in as many fans as they can. The OGs from 2014, the new fans from Security Breach, and also your average Joes who can't tell a Fred Bear from a Ned Bear, let alone a glam rock from a rock star. Oh.
If you don't get that joke, well, it's not really a joke. I just find it funny because I am one of those OGs, but not from 2014. I'm an OG from 2015. I was there. I came in when we still thought that FNAF 4 was going to be the final chapter. I remember I used to watch this old channel. I still know they still produced videos called Rai99, and I remember watching their reaction of the FNAF 4 trailer. Remember that time when Scott actually made trailers for his games? Scott himself. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. If that doesn't speak to you, what the hell are you doing here? What the hell are you doing watching this video? Anyway, let's continue. I only worked for 4 minutes. I'm recording for nearly 20 minutes. My God, I need to hurry up.
You have so much to learn. So all in all, think of this movie as something that's gonna wipe the slate clean and start fresh, referencing moments and key characters from the game's books, but not being beholden to them, because, you know, that's not a confusing route to go at all. That said, let's just hope they don't stray too far from the games. Case in point, this detail right here. During a spoopy, scary moment in the trailer, Nebraska is spelled out very clearly on a poster in very large, very bold letters right next to the main character's head. This was an intentional decision definitely put into the trailers to keep us talking. This means something. Now, the general consensus is that the Fnaf games normally take place in Utah. Multiple spin-off book series have made that detail quite clear. Could it be then that they've moved the setting to Nebraska for some reason? Maybe, but I don't think so. It'd be weird to just have a state poster of the state that you're currently in right above your security desk. My guess is that this poster was put here intentionally by Mike. It's important to him for some reason. My best guess is that it's hashtag goals, an aspirational place to go to help him get out of his current situation. Because on the face of it, things don't seem to be going all that great for him. It looks to me like Mike and his family have fallen on some hard times. First off, we don't see his parents in these trailers at all. Though Mike's father has been cast, I'm gonna guess that he's only here for a flashback scene, considering he doesn't look too much older than Mike's actor Josh Hutcherson. Additionally, we see that Mike and his little sister Abby are living in a small house with an average car, and Mike is looking for any job that he can get.
I was just calling to see if that job that you offered was still available. I will take anything.
We later see Mike bringing Abby along with him while he's working, implying that this is probably their only option. They can't afford a babysitter, and if there were parents at home to take care of Abby, why would he be bringing her to his night shift job? So Nebraska might be a symbolic place of freedom for Mike, a place to escape and finally be free. More or less, though, I believe that the setup for the backstory of the FNAF movie is going to align with that of the first game. Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria was a popular arcade and food chain represented by its 4 iconic mascots:
Foxy, Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy.
However, they're not the only ones here. It seems that some of the children encountered another animatronic, a large yellow bunny rabbit that's separate from the other 4, as we see in a drawing here on the wall from this shot. This was a costume used by the owner of the establishment, William Afton, an outfit that he would use to get closer to the kids, which honestly is creepier in a movie than it was in the games. You know, just your typical yellow bunny friend holding hands with 5 kids, which, when you're talking in horror movie speak, is code for he killed those kids, stuffed them into suits, and eventually turned them into haunted robots. Also,
That's not just horror movie, that's horror video game as well. But was it 5 murders? Was it 10? Was it 15? I don't know.
So, just to call it out here, I originally thought that there was going to be something hidden in this wall of drawings beyond just the obvious. I mean, it is the perfect spot to sneak in little bits of hidden lore, but the more that we've seen of the wall and other tricks...
I mean, there is a reference to Balloon Boy. I think that's just a reference for us, the fans, because I have not seen any reference to Balloon Boy unless I am completely dumb and I missed a very obvious one, or even a not so obvious Balloon Boy animatronic somewhere. And they even say that there are only 4 animatronics. Yeah, why would you have a Balloon Boy there? Why?
There doesn't actually seem to be that much of anything here, sadly, and honestly surprisingly considering the franchise we're talking about. Speaking of Yellow Bunnyman, the trailers seem determined to convince us that the person we expected to play the franchise's big bad isn't actually playing the villain. Despite rumors that he would be playing our resident Urkel murder man William Afton, in the trailers Lillard's character is clearly labeled as Steve Raglan, career counselor. But here's the rub. If there's one thing we've learned here on film theory over the past decade, it's that trailers can be manipulated to create mystery or confuse timelines. See also Morbius and Infinity War, just to name 2 key examples.
Yeah.
And here, I think we're being presented with the exact same sort of misdirect. In fact, I'm almost 100% confident that I can prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. First, Matthew Lillard confirmed that he signed a 3-picture deal to star in more than one FNAF movie. And unless Steve Raglan's a new character that Blumhouse is just really hype about, I expect that deal was to play Afton. However,
3 more? We are gonna have a trilogy of FNAF films. So sorry. It took a bit of it took a while for my brain to comprehend what that meant. We're having 2 more films. Wow. If they're gonna come out at the same speed that this film has come out, wow. It'll take 24 years if it takes another 16 for these next 2 films to come out. I will most likely have kids. My kids will be able to go and watch this film, the last film, when it comes out with me. Wow. Wow.
Or more convincingly, we have this scene from the trailer where a young boy is seen getting kidnapped in the middle of the woods. Based on the film's official website, the synopsis reads that Mike is still, quote, haunted by the unsolved disappearance of his younger brother more than a decade before. And we know, based on casting, that the brother's name is Garrett. Now, the actor playing this kid Garrett is named Lucas Grant. Hopping over to Instagram, Grant commented on a post by Matthew Lillard saying that it was great to work with him and that he's much nicer than his character. Now tell me, why would a young actor playing a kidnapped boy have any reason to interact with a career counselor? He wouldn't. The only way they interact is if Matthew Lillard, Steve Raglan, William Afton, call him whatever you want, was kidnapping that kid. In other words,
there's also the fact that in the books, like in the original trilogy, William Afton was known to use aliases to hide. So it could very well be the same thing here. That's not my idea, by the way, that was Doko. If you go back to Doko's reaction to the trailers, he had that idea first. I did not come up with that. Not trying to shift a blame onto Doko if ever I'm wrong. Credit is deserved where it's due. That's not the sake I forget sometimes. Remember, I speak French as well, so sometimes my brain gets a bit topsy-turvy.
Movie, a big final reveal will be that Matthew Lillard kidnapped Mike's brother. This would actually parallel some key moments from the original novel, where William Afton acts under a pseudonym, Dave Miller, and has the perfectly normal mundane job of security guard for an old abandoned mall, a job that allows him to supervise the comings and goings around Freddy's. That way, when kids start poking around, he's able to hop into the suit, get it, huh, because he's a rabbit, hop into the suit and try to scare him away, just like we see him doing here. And lastly, in the novels, he also kidnaps a kid prior to becoming a crazed serial killer. Honestly, a lot of the details here line up. Now, before we start jumping from video to video to keep tabs on Freddy and the gang with more plot predictions, let's take a moment to thank a service that I bet Mike wishes he had. Our sponsor, about Spooky. Hey, the more I thought about this now, based on that half on Google, so extra honest friends and family more than you'd think. Who wants to keep in touch with? And I'm not talking about video calling the pizza. So really, when we look at a lot of the clues coming from these trailers, the story is largely what you'd expect. There's a string of children disappearing from the pizzeria, resulting in Freddy Fazbear's shutting down. Judging from both the kids drawing on the wall and this shot from the trailer, looks like Afton killed 5 children, as we'd expect from the lore of the first game. Our favorite bunny-themed serial killer hid the bodies of the kids inside the animatronic suits, and in so doing trapped their souls inside the robots forever. And we know that they're sticking with that specific part of the lore based on the jump scare here. It is so good every time I see it. Children's hands popping out of animatronic mouths. Not only is it terrifying, it tells us that he definitely hid the bodies inside there. But now,
although my question is, because it cuts off before we know, does this just like push the lady away? Does it scare her, or does she actually get grabbed and then yanked inside? That would be very interesting to see. Very, very interesting indeed.
Recently, people have been poking around the old abandoned pizzeria. As we see in the most recent trailer, some small-time criminals break in, intent on robbing the place and trashing it up for fun. I believe that sequence is probably going to be the beginning of the film. These characters breaking in before they're met with a terrible fate. The possessed animatronics come to life and kill them as they're mid-crime, not only showing the audience early on that these things are terrifying, but also creating a giant problem for Afton, who now risks having more people poking around his old murder den. Hoping to prevent future break-ins and deeply uncomfortable questions about his past, Afton decides to hire a security guard to keep an eye on the place during the night. His first option doesn't exactly work out all that well, but not to be deterred, our plucky mass murderer tries and tries again to find someone who'll keep the building safe. Enter our main character of the movie, Mike Schmidt. Mike will do anything for cash. Based on these 2 shots from the first trailer here, we know that Mike has a history of working as a security guard, but likely he got carried away in a previous role, resulting in him getting fired. Desperate for cash and with no one willing to hire him, Mike takes a job as the night shift security guard at Freddy Fazbear's, bringing his sister Abby with him. It seems like things aren't too strange starting off. Though it's certainly creepy, they explore the pizzeria without much of an issue, until of course there's a knock at the front door. Mike goes out and meets Vanessa, a police officer with a strange interest in the building. In fact, she seems to know a lot about Freddy's.
In the 80s, kids went missing. The police searched Freddy's top to bottom. They never found them. That's why the place shut down.
Looks like somebody watched our complete timeline. Soon, as creepy occurrences start happening all across the pizzeria, Mike realizes what he's gotten himself into.
There are ghost children possessing giant robots. Thanks for for the heads up.
And here's where the stakes get higher. Obviously, the animatronics are going to pose a danger to both Mike and Vanessa, but their well-being isn't going to be the only thing on the line during this movie. Throughout the trailers, we see shots of Abby going off to explore the pizzeria alone and ultimately hiding from Foxy in the ball pit. Let's just hope that she doesn't time travel.
If you don't...
In all seriousness...
Okay, if you don't get the reference, I don't know what you do in your spare time other than learn the entirety of a Fnaf lore by heart and learning what happens in every single one of the books. They get weird very quickly. Just as weird as you are, cat. Yes, I'm one of those freaks that kisses their cats. Oh.
So somehow Abby will befriend animatronics, especially the leader, Golden Fredbear, a character that, you'll notice, never appears anywhere except for in shots with her. Why does she befriend them? Or rather, why do the animatronics choose to befriend Abby? Well...
What do they want?
They want to make her like them.
Yep, the animatronics want to add another member to their ranks, and that is going to be the big driving factor for this movie. Mike and Vanessa are going to rush to try to solve the mystery of the kids' disappearance and put their spirits to rest, hopefully with plenty of time to save Abby. The scenes where we see Mike interacting with the kids outside the pizzeria, I believe that this is where Mike is trying to put the pieces together and is speaking to the spirits in something like his dreams. Of course, William Afton does not want this to happen and has to get himself physically involved, disguising himself in his old Springtrap costume and chasing Mike and Vanessa around in an attempt to silence them in the big scary action set pieces. Afton will likely capture and injure Vanessa at some point, considering that we see a yellow rabbit hand grabbing Vanessa's neck here and Mike sitting by Vanessa in the hospital looking concerned. So that's the main setup for what I see happening in the movie, but what about the big twist? There's always got to be some sort of a big twist in FNAF. Well, I believe that it comes with the identity of some of the spirits. You see, we actually get a pretty good idea of which spirits possess which animatronic bodies from this shot in the trailers. It's pretty obviously telegraphed. Bunny ear kid is Bonnie, redhead with pirate claw is Foxy, the girl wearing all yellow is Chica, and the boy with the top hat is Freddy. As for the last kid though, well, the obvious thought was that he was going to become the mysterious Golden Freddy. I think that's what I and everyone else assumed when we saw that first trailer. But now, I'm not so sure. The fact that this fifth child in the shot doesn't have a characteristic explicitly linking him to an animatronic has to be intentional. And I believe that it was the filmmakers keeping things ambiguous so we wouldn't guess their twist.
Personally, I don't know what he's gonna say, but if he does say the same thing, I'm gonna be very happily surprised. Cat, please don't walk on my keyboard. I think it's gonna be the crying child.
I suspect that the fifth kid here isn't Golden Freddy. Instead, I think it might be the Cupcake. Yeah,
What? 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 Even the cat is like, what? I need to get out of here. This makes no sense. Are you Smike? If you don't get that reference, top 10 facts you didn't know about the cupcake. If you don't get that reference again, what are you doing here?
I know, I get it. It sounds ridiculous, but hear me out on this one. In the latest trailer, we clearly see Cupcake moving around independently and attacking someone without Chica's help. My initial gut thought to this? Well, that's kind of stupid, to be honest. Like, does Chica's soul transfer down into the Cupcake alone for remote attacks, leaving Chica soulless for a while now? Or can a spirit divide itself and act on different parts of the character at different times? You know what? I'm not sure. I don't have a good answer.
Or it could also be that we know from the lore of the games that the girl who goes on to possess Chica, she was lured out because William told her that her dog had died. A lot of people, myself included, think that in the games the dog's soul went on to possess Mangle. But here, if we don't have Mangle, I mean, we could say that the soul of her dog possessed the Cupcake. Could be.
For it, but I do think that this would open up an incredibly dark and compelling twist on Golden Freddy. Remember, these 5 kids who disappeared at Freddy Fazbear's in the shot aren't the only kids that have gone missing in this story. We still have ourselves Mike's missing brother Garrett, who we talked about earlier as the kid in the back of the car, likely being carted away by old Billy Afton up in front. I mean, in this franchise, it would be shocking if someone kidnapping a child wasn't William Afton. Anyway, why do I think that this is actually the moment that we see Mike's brother get kidnapped? Well, again, we turn to actor Lucas Grant and Instagram, where we we see this post of him hanging out with another child actor named Wyatt Parker. Parker even calls Grant his best bro, an interesting choice of words considering that Parker was cast in the film as young Mike. Two twin brothers, one who gets kidnapped. Almost a one-for-one replica of what we see happen in the Silver Eyes novel. So let me ask you, what if Mike's brother is Golden Freddy, separate from the tragedy at the pizzeria? We can assume that Mike's brother was kidnapped in one of the earlier parts of the timeline, a time when Golden Freddy would still be in use. And in the games, we've long theorized that Mike Schmidt is in fact Mike Afton, son of William Afton. This would also mean that his little brother was the crying child who was killed and became one of the spirits that possessed Golden Freddy. Given the fact that Mike's father's been cast and is distinctly not being played by Matthew Lillard, I don't think that's the exact direction that they're taking for the movie, but taking the core of that story, keeping Mike's brother as Golden Freddy, well, that would fit with both the timeline and serve as a devastating twist to the casual audience. It would also explain why Abby is spending so much time with Golden Freddy in the trailers. It's her spending time with a brother that she never got to know, whether she realizes it or not. It could also explain why Golden Freddy retains blue eyes when all the other animatronics have red ones. The circumstances of his possession are just a little bit different and he's interacting with a family member. So Afton attacks Mike and Vanessa for getting too close to his secrets, and despite fighting back, they ultimately lose. As they're about to die, Abby is able to win over the animatronics and use them to fight back against Afton, saving them all. You'll notice one of the oddities of the trailer is the design of Springtrap. It is different from what we see in the games. It's cleaner and it's...
Because it's not Springtrap yet, like I said, it's Golden Bonnie. That Springtrap here that you're using, which is from Fnaf 3, which is, you can see his organs and everything has been taken off. He got spring-locked.
More put together. It has not gone through all the rotten decay that we'd expect from this character. I believe that's exactly how it ends. Mike, Abby, Vanessa, and the animatronics defeat Afton by trapping him in the walls. Tying a bow on the end of this movie while still leaving him in a position to turn into the decayed, rotten corpse that we all know and love for the eventual sequel. However, all things can't end happily here. I believe there's a good chance that the animatronics are gonna wind up getting what they want out of Abby in the end. Her name is an anagram of baby, after all. An animatronic that first appeared in FNAF's sister location. The team celebrates the defeat of Afton, only for Abby to accidentally stumble into a clown outfit, or maybe get put there by a vengeful Golden Freddy, giving us our villain and the problem to solve in the eventual second movie, saving the girl from her eternal, ceaseless torment. Or maybe that ceaseless torment is just meant for me, who is now tasked with trying to solve the timeline of this franchise across multiple channels. Truly, the animatronics have taken another victim. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cuts.
Okay. There is a lot to talk about that ending. That idea for an ending. I like it. That's what I'm gonna say. Matthew, if ever you watch this, congratulations. I really like it. I really think it's got potential. Okay. But why would... Sorry, I'm taking time because I'm trying to formulate the sentence correctly. Why would the animatronics help Mike after, first of all, trying to hurt him? Okay. I mean, you could just say that, yeah, it's thanks to Abby, but also the idea that Abby then falls or like stumbles into a clown costume doesn't really make much sense, because at no point have we seen or even mentioned a clown costume here, and especially since this is supposed to be the FNAF from the 80s. It's not Circus Baby's rental. I mean, it could, because again, it could just be something that they decide not to show from the trailer just because it would be better that way. It could be that. I personally don't think it's a good idea, but I do see the merit in it. I do understand how you could think that way, and for a moment, I will agree. So, yeah, you have me convinced at least. I don't really know what to say right now. I really like it. I really like this theory. So, yeah. I guess that now there's only one thing left to do. One thing that I have not done in a very, very long time. It's time for me to say goodbye. Thank you everyone so much for watching this video, and hopefully I will make a new video next week. So, goodbye!